Hi, and welcome to a chair and restorative practice for the spine. To begin, you're going to need a chair. Please sit yourself towards the edge of the chair and separate your knees so that your legs are apart. Now again, just coming towards the edge of the chair a little more so that you can drop one thigh towards the ground. And then make a twist with the upper body. And then repeat to the other side. So we're just turning and sitting on one sits bone, letting that groin of the long leg open and soften. Let's repeat that. Turning to one side, letting the upper body continue the twist, and then the head, perhaps even grabbing to the back of the chair. To unwind, start with the head and come back around, then go to the other side. Note that I'm on the ball of my back foot and the whole of my front foot. And then I'm taking the head back around to the front. So we'll repeat this a few times. We're just swiveling. Take the head back and around a few times this time before you untwist. And then come around. And again, take the head a few times forward and back. Good. So come back to center now. Now we're going to look over that front shoulder. So you're going to almost look behind you towards the long leg. You're still on the edge of your seat, so only one sits bone is really connected. The other leg is free from the chair. Take your time. And then you can scoot yourself back, legs still wide. Cross one hand over your chest and repeat the same movement. So we're swiveling to the same side, reaching away with that elbow, looking towards the back leg, but the upper body is moving in the opposite direction away from the leg. And now the other side. Note that my elbow is parallel to the ground, so I'm not dropping my elbow. Good. And release. You can scoot back a little further now. We're going to do a forward bend. You can keep your hands on your thighs, or you can take them down to your ankles or your feet or the floor, or perhaps even a couple of blocks if you prefer. And roll up one vertebra at a time. And bringing the feet together, hands on your lap, just rest and feel the effects of what you've done so far. Okay, so we're going to remove the chair and come on down to the floor now on your back with your knees bent in constructive rest. Just arrive and feel the contact points of the back body. You can turn to look one way and then turn to look the other, letting the head roll from left to right in a heavy manner. Just checking in with the neck and the shoulders. We're going to take the knees to the chest, but before you do, just lift one knee at a time. And then bring in both knees. You can grab hold with your arms under your thighs or over. Rocking on the lower back, left to right. And then into a supine twist, so either falling to the left or right. Keeping your knees nice and high as or even higher than your hips. If you need any extra support, perhaps under the back shoulder or between the legs, feel free to place a blanket or pillow there. I'm extending that front leg out and rotating the ankle. Any responses the body has, any yawns, feel free to do that. Reach with that heel, perhaps bring the toes up and then down, and release back to the back. Take a moment of pause. Feel the difference between the side that you've turned towards and the other longer side. We'll now balance it out. So taking up one leg at a time first, and then both knees into the center and letting them drop now to the opposite side. Arms to a T or wherever is comfortable. Breathe, and if you would like, you can explore by extending that top leg out. Again, if you feel like you need any kind of support under the back shoulder or between the legs, feel free to use that. Once your leg is extended, you can begin to point and flex the foot or make circles with the ankle or draw the toes upward and down. Moving the whole leg from the hip. And then back onto your back. And relax. Feeling again now both sides of the body and any response or sensations you notice. Now you can start to let your knees fall, keeping your feet on the ground. Just rock through the edges of the feet. And you can hold here and just allow a softness through the gluteals. Reaching with that top knee away from the body and an opening through the side body all the way into the shoulder. And just rock back and forth, side to side, exploring this movement for yourself. Find the most pleasurable experience you can. Feel free to continue to rock side to side, or if you feel like holding anywhere, you can pause, just breathe deeply and sense. Just breathe and feel. And in a moment, we're going to grab either a bolster if you have it, or some cushions or pillows or blankets to enter the restorative portion of class. So come to an upright position and then grab your props. So as our first position, we're going to do a downward dog with the support of the bolster. So just position your bolster in front of your body as you are on all fours. Shoulders and wrists aligned, hips and knees aligned. Press your toes back to prepare to come into a downward dog. Opening the backs of the legs to the back wall, orienting yourself so that your head, your forehead, can rest on the bolster or pillows. Adjusting it as necessary. Make little adjustments so that you can find the most comfortable position here. You don't want your hands and feet to be too far apart, nor too close together. So keep elongating the spine, tail reaching upward toward the ceiling. And the crown of head resting lightly on the surface of the bolster or blankets. And now let's lower the hips down to the edge of the bolster into a cobra pose. Now, if you prefer to do Sphinx or something that's lower to the ground on your forearms, that's fine. You can have your legs apart or together here. Just make sure that you're not feeling any uncomfortable compression through the lower back. Nice long spine. Breathe. And release into a child's pose. Now, feel free to use the bolster and hug the bolster as a prop in child's pose. Otherwise, you can just set it aside. Breathe. And we'll come into our next posture with the bolster or blankets, whatever you've got. If I say bolster, it's what I mean, is whatever you've got. And please place it or them under your waist. And then lie long so you're right on the edge of your body. Neither roll forward nor back. Stack your legs one on top of the other. Now, if you prefer to have a blanket or a pillow under your head instead of your arm, feel free to do that. And then if you need that top arm to help you keep from rolling, you can brace yourself with it on the floor. Otherwise, just leave it long on the side of your body. Try to release to this pose. Now you can also take that top arm and stretch it overhead, bringing the palms together. Again, just checking that you're not rolling back or forward, that you're in one long line. And if your cushions or props are too high, this might be too uncomfortable. So if you can make it lower, you might find it more comfortable. Likewise, if it's not high enough, you might not be feeling enough sensation and you'll have to build it up to get just the right amount. Once you're comfortable, just work on releasing. You can also take your knees into your side at any time in that posture if it's more comfortable. And we'll go to the other side, so just place your bolsters, props on the other side, find your waist. So what we don't want, we don't want the bolster to be on the hip, and we don't really want it to be on the upper rib cage, but right at the waist. Again, long body. Neither rolling forward nor back, though, as I said before, if you wanted to bend your knees here and bring them towards your chest, that could be an option if it's more comfortable. So again, restorative is all about impeccable standard of comfort. So if you need to adjust, if you need to take away or add props, it's all acceptable. And not just acceptable, but necessary. Breathe and release. If you'd like to add the extension of the arm overhead, and it might be nice to flex the feet away from the body, almost as if you were standing on a surface. Breathe and release. And to come out, release the arm and draw the knees up if they aren't already. Take a moment just to feel any sensations through the side, and then push yourself back up to sitting. So, as we were before when we were doing Cobra, just place the cushion right at the groin and lay your trunk over. This time, we will bring one knee up towards the elbow and turn to look to that side. So you're kind of hugging and surrounding your props here. Breathe and release through the lower back. Feel the length of the long side of the body and the drawing in of the short side as you breathe. Surrender to the bolster, to the floor, to your breath. So prepare now to change sides. So you'll lengthen the leg and bring up the opposite knee this time. Don't rush it. Turning the head to look at that side of the body now, letting the other side lengthen. Breathe, relax, let go. So let's release the pose by drawing the legs back down, maybe pausing for a moment with both legs long on the bolster. And pressing into another child's pose here. Again, you could use the bolster if you want to hug the bolster, or just reach back, your hands on the floor, your tailbone moving towards your feet. Breathe. And then coming up, we'll move into our next posture. So we're going to place the bolster under the legs and take Savasana here. So you might find that having the legs on a chair, the lower legs, or having the legs up the wall is more suitable for you at this moment. So feel free to try any of those variations. And let's focus in on the sensation of the back body, from the tailbone, along both sides of the spine, up through, all the way up through the crown of the head. Soften and deepen your relationship with those contact points. Let the head be heavy, arms heavy, tail heavy. Feel free to stay as you are, but if you'd like, you can bring one leg at a time onto the surface of the wall or the chair, or if you have the bolster, just bending your legs, feeling how that changes and shifts the whole line. Breathe. And if you'd like, you can take your knees in closer to your chest, but without your arms. Just use the weight of the legs. And then you can fall off to the right or left in a little fetal position. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. Or if you feel complete, you can use your upper arm to push yourself up to an upright position. And close with me here with hands in Anjali Mudra at the chest. Deep breath in and release.